Yo, 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 what's good, YouTube? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back welcoming you to the post-fight show with Stormybman for this Saturday, May 28th, 2022, and we're going over the major fight card that featured in its main event, Davis versus Romero, the WBA Lightweight Championship, broadcast live on Showtime pay-per-view. Welcome everybody that's out there. I appreciate you coming into the building to hear what Stormybman has to say regarding this fight card. We put a little poll up there for you guys as well to ask you, basically, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you rank Tank's performance this evening? And I'm sure we'll get some ratings out of that. And you know, we're gonna talk about this a little bit. We had a great chance to be entertained by the promotion and build up to this fight. We saw a lot of Rolly Romero, the young man who kind of has a gift for gab. But I'll tell you something, you know, he wasn't awed by the spectacle. He was ready to go in there. He was a little bit more inexperienced than he needed to be, but I'll tell you this, we've seen more experienced guys perform worse, haven't we? And that's something to think about in the sport of boxing. But Tank Davis came through once again, thrilling the crowd with a stunning knockout that came quick as a KO in the 6th round. Much as Rolly talked about running Tank into something, it was he who ran into something that Tank Davis was lying in wait for. And I have to say this about Tank delivering on that punch that stopped Rolly. You have to be able to stand in the danger zone to deliver a shot like that. There were moments that Rolly was trying to do some things, but he was jumping back out of the way. Again, Tank having the experience, not just professional experience, but even going back to those 200 plus amateur fights that he has professed to have had. When you look at a guy who has experience, sometimes they make it look very easy. But that was not easy. Tank was in there with a live dog tonight, but as I often say, cream rises to the top. The young man was prepared, meaning Tank Davis. And once again, without any hesitation, he delivered a stunning knockout blow that his opponent didn't see coming. And they just terribly underestimate this young man's abilities and his ring IQ. Tank Davis is a top fighter in the sport of boxing today, and the sooner people start giving him the credit, the better off the sport will be, because then they will clamor for the fights against opponents that he needs to be in there with. No more of that kind of looking around and see who will accept the challenge. It's time to now demand that certain individuals, they're not doing anything if they're not getting in there with him. Not only is he box office gold, but he's crowd pleasing. He has a crowd pleasing style. The people have embraced him as a person. And man, he is growing up by the fight, isn't he? I loved his post-fight comments, which is why I came on air a little bit later. I was originally scheduled to be on almost 30 minutes ago, but I wanted to hear what he had to say in the aftermath of his victory, and I was quite pleased. I mean, I was very pleased to hear what he said, and that's great. You see, because so many times in the sport of boxing, they are ready to bury the fighters with, negative comments and things of that nature, or dwelling on the negative. But to hear him speak the way he spoke, to hear him give credit to his opponent tonight, which he didn't necessarily have to do, but it showed class in he doing so. Tank is growing up, people, and there may be some more excitement on the horizon, especially if he makes the proper decisions on how his career is going to be managed going forward. I liked what I saw tonight. I loved his performance. I loved the show up by Rolly Romero, because we really didn't know how he was going to respond after the bell rang for that first round, huh? But hats off to Romero for performing and showing up like a professional and doing his best to compete. But the difference was wide, a huge margin, because Rolly, with his style and the adversaries that he faced, he needed at least 10 more fights on his record to be able to go in there and face Tank Davis. So, opening remark there. We're going to take a moment, go into the chat, see who we got out there. I know that we have more than a few people out there this evening, so let's see who we got. Sorry about that, people. That's the internet. That was not me. That was not my system. So the internet, the signal just kind of blanked out for a quick second. But we're back, and everything has reconnected. But that was beyond me. So it wasn't you guys, and it wasn't me this time. So just wanted to say apologies for that. But I was going to go out and say, we got JC out there with the emoji, Antonio MMAs, saying salute sensei, Tone 40 in the building. Who else we got? J. Wayne Citizen out there with the Bruce Lee emoji. That has absolutely nothing to do with me. I don't even know. That's from outside the area. But we still here. They tripping. But anyway, getting through my roll call. I said Jay Wayne. Big homie Coop is out there saying, salute Seafood. Backsmack the like button, people. Class is in session, so pay attention. Underground Asylum is with us saying salute sensei. Who else we got? C99 is in the building saying he said it perfectly. No Levels is out there saying pissed. I wanted Rolly to win. Silvestrio's out there saying Stormy, what's good? Tank Ice Rolly, Pacquiao style too. Romero is garbage. And C99 says, Tank gained my real respect tonight. Black Love, Black Power, Black Greatness is out there saying, salute OG, salute to you. Thrill Hill is back saying, salute Stormy B, salute to you. Perfect Timing 13 is saying, salute Stormy. Vince Williams saying, salute Stormy in chat. Eric O in the building saying, salute Sensei. Vince Williams is saluting William. Mansa Musa Lifestyle is out there saying, salute Sensei. Teach says, that KO was so satisfying. Rolly boxed good up until that point. Von D Gaming is back saying, salute Stormy B. Salute to you. Yeah. So, you know, what we saw was a performance tonight by a professional. Tank is no longer a green young prospect. He's a championship caliber fighter. And a lot of his experience around the gym, being in there with Mayweather and the likes, he has learned his craft. He's learned what he's doing in there. And I have to take my hat off to the brother. He's doing some very positive things, Tank Davis. And we have to acknowledge it. We have to acknowledge what Tank is doing in the sport of boxing. And he's doing it very well. But his post-fight interview, that's something to study. Tank expressed himself. He acknowledged his opponent and that his opponent gave him a challenge. And that's what you look for. That's what you look for. You look for these things and you look for the growth in an individual. And he showed that this evening. In the moment after it initially happened, he went over and yelled in, Rolly's face like, yeah, I got you or whatever. But he came around to his senses and showed professionalism when Jim Gray was in, asking him questions in the post-fight interview and everything. And I like to see that. But the fight was competitive. Rolly came out exhibiting strength. He did his best to try to stand his ground and let Tank know he wasn't going anywhere. Salute to Alvin Davis out there in that super chat saying, salute Stormy B Man in chat. We appreciate you, Alvin Davis. Thank you again for your super chat and welcome to the show. But yeah, that was like really something that we didn't know that we would see from Rolly. We kind of figured we would know what Rolly would do, but not 100%. And Rolly kind of fooled a lot of people. People felt like Rolly wasn't going to win this fight, but they didn't know he was going to perform up to the level that he did. He did perform admirably. Salute to William, old school art out there in that super chat. He says, Tank is the real deal, Stormy B Man. Salute. Salute to you, William. Thank you for your super chat, man. And you're right. Tank is the real deal. And people have better recognize that this is what he's going to be. Vasily Lomachenko, Cambozo, Haney. Those guys are on notice. And if you don't beat him, you're not the man. Because though he doesn't have all the trinkets, he's got everything else that goes along with it, including something called an equalizer, something that none of the other names that I just mentioned have. So that was something to take to the bank. I love it. I love it, man. We got more people filing into the building. We got Winston Lee out there. Drew Titan, LLC, my brother's out there saying Rolly did the best he could. We knew what was coming. Ratchet since 91 is out there saying, Tank slept that boy. Salute, Sensei. Salute to you. Young World says, salute, Big Storm. Salute to the chat. Dre Fighter says, Rolly got his mouth wired closed. Dre Finest is saying, facts, Stormy, 100. Listen, man. I'm not gonna roast Rolly. As I said in the opening remarks, Rolly performed much better than some of your favorite guys who are still fighting. Some of them might even have a trinket or two. He ran into a shot by a more experienced, skilled fighter. But he held his own. He performed more than some of these other guys can say that they do. He talked the talk and he walked the walk. The only thing he didn't get was the victory, nor the first round knockout. But he didn't pack it in. He kept trying. And just like Tank said to Jim Gray, when he said, oh, he was strong, he acknowledged that Rolly was strong. He doesn't have to tell you all anything, because when you offer up too much information, it shows a vulnerability that fighters don't like to show. But we, coaches, trainers, fighters, we know what's meant by what he expressed. The man was dangerous. Tank couldn't afford to just run into something because he could have been on the canvas himself. So he had to tenderize him, soften him up a few rounds, get into a rhythm, get shaken out. As he said, he talked to someone that's outside the crowd. He didn't want to say his name. He's like the person was saying, go ahead and walk him down, because they used to Tank walking people down. He said, no, it ain't that time yet. This guy's dangerous. So those of you who wanted to see Rolly lose, get knocked out, you got that. That was granted. But there's another way to look at this. And you look at it for the way that the man performed. It was his biggest fight of his life. Did you see the people jam-packed in that auditorium, that venue? And he went out there and fought. He got knocked out. And you know what? He got knocked out trying. You get folks that get knocked out not trying, who quit on their stools in the corner and stuff like that. So am I going to read Rolly the Riot Act? Absolutely not. I know the difference between someone giving an effort and someone giving you their ass. Willingly. Those kind of things, I'm not an advocate for, and I have to give real fighters their credit. Now, what I would like to see is Rolly get better coaching. I do believe the man that he's working with is not someone that can take him to a level beyond where he is. But he's more than capable of delivering. More than capable. People have to see things for what they are, man. They have to see. I got a message coming in here. Forgive me. I'll get to the chat in just a second. One second, people. Very important. Okay. Okay. Almost done, people. Almost done. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Just had to respond to some messages there. Let me go back to the chat for a quick second. I know there was some messages there. And a couple more people in the couple new people came into the building. Derek Bailey, BBG, Reese Bro, Whatever Man, Dave the Real Thomas, Snacksby, I got you earlier. Eric R is in the building. Yeah, so, you know, know what you're looking at when you're watching boxing, people. Tank Davis is very popular. A lot of people like the guy. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it at all. But don't just trash the other guy because he lost and you wanted to see him lose. Huh? He performed. I can see if he had just went in there and cowered and went down, you know. But he didn't do that. He performed. And I'll tell you something. If he would have caught Tank with some of that heat he was throwing, Tank would have had a problem. Yeah. I didn't say he would have knocked Tank out. I said Tank would have had a problem. There was a shot that got in there that gave Tank a wake-up call. This guy's dangerous. It's very interesting to see a guy with limited experience perform like that. That cannot be overlooked, people. Can't be overlooked. Because we're not talking about Olympic gold medalists. We're not talking about Olympic gold medalists. We're talking about someone who was a little crude in his talent and everything, but he stood his ground. He manned up. You have to give people credit. Everybody likes to bury somebody. You don't bury everybody, huh? There are people that deserve to be buried. Canelo Alvarez. Yeah, I'm still on that. I'm still on it. And there are other people yet to be proven. Cambozo. People who need to step up to challenges. Lomachenko. Yeah. And all of those names I just mentioned, they can do well by getting in the ring with the man we saw in victory tonight. Yeah. And let's talk about the elephant that wasn't in the room. Where was Floyd? Where was Floyd at? Floyd wasn't there. That's a good thing. You see what can happen when you get rid of excess baggage? Nostrils was still there. He ain't going nowhere. He's like that little bit of a stain you get on your clothes. You just got some fresh threads on and you get something on and you be like, damn, that's Nostrils. Yeah. Tell me I'm wrong. M. Banks Unfiltered says, Tank steamrolled Rolly. No, he didn't steamroll him, brother. He did not steamroll him. He ran him into a shot. He was the one moving away from Rolly most of the night. I've never seen someone get steamrolled going away from the opponent that he's pursuing. Yeah. And this wasn't your typical boxing match. Both of these guys were punchers. So there weren't a lot of jabs. There weren't a lot of setting up things. There was a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of, feinting and trying to get a guy out of position or whatever. But Tank was on the move. And he felt that physicality from Rolly as well. Rolly's a strong cat, man. And somehow, some way, I knew that martial art background of his was going to mean something. And it did. But I didn't like how the ref started threatening him with taking points away. Like, dude, we ain't even into the third round yet. And you're like, oh, keep it up. I'm going to get you. Some of these referees, man, they leave a lot to be desired. They really do. Tone 40 says, Rolly put his own foot in his mouth. I knew he was dangerous. I was on the edge of my chair until Tank hit him with that counter punch. did he really put his foot in his mouth, or did he put your eyes on this event that he was participating in? Did he not promote the hell out of this fight to make you want to tune in? So he was wrong. Guys say at every damn press conference, I'm knocking the other guy out. To the degree that it's like you hate hearing it now. You know? Everybody's going to knock the other guy out. They don't even just say, I'm going to win. I'm winning. I'm a winner. You know, Evander used to say that. Evander used to be my favorite fighter. He would say that. I'm a winner. If you go the distance, I win. If I knock him out, I win. If there's a DQ, I'm going to win. That's how Evander approached fights. It's these new guys today that call knockouts for every match. Oh, I'm knocking him out. I'm knocking him the TF out. He's getting TF'd out. You know, all of that. All of that. But what's the opponent supposed to do? Shake in his boots and be like, oh, I'm afraid to be knocked out. Half the guys that get knockouts today don't even set knockouts up. They just happen because a guy runs into a shot, leaves his hand down irresponsibly, or something of that nature. But Tank Davis is a different sort. He can be winning a boxing match and knock you out. He could be losing a boxing match and knock you out. Or he could just touch you during the fight and knock you out. The punch he caught Rolly with was just like when Juan Manuel Marquez caught Manny Pacquiao diving in, head first. That's what's supposed to happen by a veteran fighter. A veteran fighter. Was Juan Manuel Marquez a veteran fighter? Absolutely. When he faced Manny, was he steamrolled, or was he steamrolling Manny? No. In fact, I believe before the knockout occurred, Manny had Juan staggering, lifts, his leg was stiff and everything. You know, when Juan Manuel gets hurt, one of his legs get real stiff. It's like he's stepping on nails or something. It's like funny, the reaction that his body have, because it's like one leg gets real stiff on him. And Manny went in to try to go after him, and he caught him coming in. He had been trying that for 4 fights and finally got him. That wasn't a steamroll. That was a home run. Tank delivered a home run tonight. That's what Rolly was hoping to deliver. But last, Rolly didn't know how to set it up. And that's the difference between the two men. In order to get the effect that Rolly was looking for, you have to be able to set that up. You have to be able to set traps. And you can't set the traps being aggressive, going in there trying to get him. That's why that trainer of his won't be able to take him beyond the level of where he is currently. He has to be able to understand that the real power is up here in the skull. It's not in your fist or your hand. Tank used this up here tonight. Anything otherwise, he would have gotten hurt himself. Yeah. See, I'm going to tell you like you don't want to hear it. And that's fine. But when you hear, you're going to hear it. My man Watcher is in the building. He says they warned Rolly about a clinch and threatened to take a point, but these other fighters doing full-on grappling don't even get a warning. Say it again, brother. The Messenger 215 says that pay-per-view wasn't worth 80, especially with these gas prices. The Messenger 215, did you pay? None of the pay-per-views are worth $80 right now. None of them, in my opinion, whether we have inflation or not. But if you paid because you wanted to see it. No matter how expensive, huh? Credit card is due next month. Well, Messenger, if you didn't pay, Messenger 215. You didn't pay? You said you didn't pay.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, sometimes people should just shut the fuck up and listen. Yeah, the room is thinning. That's good. You separate the wheat from the chaff, huh? Take the garbage out, so to speak. Huh? Uh-huh. Didn't I tell you all earlier when I was doing that test stream what was going to be? Did I not? I tried to say it, man. But you see, you get people that come in and they be disrespectful because they want to take something in a different direction. But when you prepare for it,
nigga, next time you hear grown folks talking, shut the fuck up, here.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, where I was going was this. Two punchers, power punchers. There were not a lot of jabs to set, scoring shots up. So someone was going to have to make a mistake. And they weren't clashing, right? Tank was moving. Rolly was pursuing. There was a lot of feinting and everything. They were touching gloves. But someone was going to have to make the mistake. And under those auspices, Tank is the more experienced fighter, which is why Rolly's trainer comes into play here. He was supposed to be able to see and acknowledge this after a couple of rounds. He would have been remiss to say, hey, Rolly, try to tag him with something and get on the back foot. Make him pursue you. These are the X's and O's of boxing, man. And at the highest level of the sport, championship level, title on the line, it's chess, not checkers. Get out of your feelings. Use your brain. Brother Code 10 is out there. He says, what's good? LDBC, salute. Stormybman, salute to you. Eric R says, down the pipe. Lambros K in the building saying, salute, Stormy. Just came in late. No idea what's happened tonight. Well, Tank Davis ended Rolly's night with a 6-round KO that he caught Rolly coming in with an overhand left, caught him flush on the jaw. If Rolly didn't have the ropes to fall into, he probably would have fell face forward on the canvas, but he fell into the ropes and then flopped over to the floor. He got up inside the count, but he was in no condition to continue. His legs were suffering from rigor mortis and everything, so the ref stopped him and they tucked him in a nice pine box and got him outside of the ring within seconds. That's the short end of it, Lambros K. Lala D, I see you out there laughing. Jay Gibson is laughing, JC laughing, Snacks B laughing, Tone 40 laughing. Yeah, the numbers dropped off when I played those couple of clips, if you notice. And that's fine. I'm cool with that. Because there are those who are just not going to roll with the facts, huh? They're just not going to. But you know, I have a message for them too. Loud and clear. Loud and clear. Stick and Move says, week by week, the fake are getting exposed. Valdez, Canelo, Trolley, Ryan, Scambozo next. William says, Rolly Trainer Bullet was definitely playing checkers, Stormy B, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. But see, I was the first one to say that, right? At least, well, I haven't listened to anyone else's commentary, but yeah. Now, didn't what I suggest sound a lot more logical? Yeah. You got two gunslingers in the Old West. One is the fastest draw in the land. The other, he's just a gunslinger. Now, how do you get the ups on the other? If you're the fastest draw in the land, your reputation precedes you. If you're just the gunslinger, then something has to take place to give you some type of advantage. The drift of wind, the birds in the air, a twinkle or twitch in the guy's eye, a distraction that you've set up unbeknownst to the guy you're facing off with. So there's a number of ways to handle this. The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Yeah. The undercard for this show wasn't too bad. The only thing that was bad was after Lyra stopped O'Sullivan, them having that moment of talking that lasted like 20 minutes. Didn't care for that very much at all, because I'm like, man, just get on to the main event, right? Everybody in the building know that there was a good chance that Lyra might stop the guy. O'Sullivan is the type of fighter that when you beat him up, you look good doing it, because he looks like from one of those guys from the 1800s or something when boxing was dominated by a bunch of Europeans. But his skills leave a lot to be desired. And the man is in his late 30s. They really shouldn't keep putting him in there to get beat up like that. I would have rather seen Lara defend against one of the younger guys that are coming up. French contender or contender. Lara's aging too. He's going to have to decide if he wants to really fight someone or give this sport up. It's a young man's sport. And Lara can no longer do the things he used to do, but it does seem that when he sets down on his punches, he does have some power. Yeah. We'll see. Prior to that, Jesus Ramos once again came away with victory over Luke. What's his last name? Santa Maria. Luke Santa Maria. Now, Santa Maria started out fine. He was boxing well, but he couldn't keep it up. And Ramos, with his length and strength, was able to wear on him a little bit. But Ramos is limited. Being super welterweights, Ramos is going to get his head taken off. He's too easy to hit and too dumb to get out of the way. Lambros K says the boxing pendulum is starting to swing the other way. Next up, Haney giving Bozo Circus a closing. Antonio says, I thought I was the only one, Stormy. Yeah. Stick and Move says, wasn't Sullivan that dude that used to hype the Hebrew Hammer? Antonio says Ramos is too slow. They keep putting these guys in there that don't belong in the ring. But they're doing it because they still want to show or reflect that they have representation. They even create an avenue for these guys to thrive in. But sooner or later they get exposed because it ain't in them. They need to stop that stuff, man. Yeah, so next week, if it happens that Bozo Circus closes up shop, you'll have another one. But they're going to work hard on that one, though. They've stacked the deck up against Devin. It's up to Devin to blow that deck out. Skills from New Orleans says, facts. Lambros says, Carl Frampton winning Fighter of the Year is when I officially knew the Ring magazine was finished. I knew when Oscar De La Hoya bought Ring magazine that it was finished. Yeah. They've always had their troubles. But I don't understand them selling to De La Hoya. Because I could have told you what he was going to do. If he had mentioned that he wanted to purchase, I'll say, hey, this is what he's going to do. Avery Jackson is laughing. I would like to know what you're laughing at, Avery. Because you just popped in with that comment. Laugh out loud. What was funny? William, that's a very good question. Are we just spoiled from the fighters and fights from the old days? Yeah, we very well may be, man. When I go into the archives talking about fights from yesterday, it's never done to put fights of today down, but just a reminder of what you may be missing out on because not knowing the history of the sport, not being engaged in it, you're not afforded the luxury of having standards. You'll accept whatever they give you. This is why I said what I said about Rolly's trainer. If you were going to put this man in that fight with only 15 fights, 14, and you were looking for a knockout, you have to devise a way to allow the knockout to happen. Tank Davis is not just going to run out there and let you knock him out. Some of you know these things. You just, have gotten adjusted to settling. What did I do? I came in here and I leveled up the playing field for these two combatants for this main event fight this evening. Even though people were going to trash Rolly because he got knocked out, how many people gave him credit for going 6 rounds? Almost 6 rounds. How many people gave him credit for being able to perform at the level he did perform? Now, the thing I would get on Rolly about was walking away. It's a sport. The better man won. You have to acknowledge it. You don't have to like it. Just like we didn't have to like the things you were saying and the things you did. You walk the walk after you talk the talk. And in boxing, when you get knocked the hell out, you have to speak and give a post-fight interview. Tank performed very well. But I was impressed with his post-fight interview more than I was the fight he fought. If Rolly were a little smarter and trained by someone else with better experience and understanding of the sport, this fight could have went into the later rounds, and then either guy would have been on the hook for a stoppage. Well, stick and move. Those names that you've named there, the irony is each one of those men, including Rolly tonight, gave efforts and went out literally on their shields. Now, Isaac Cruz didn't get stopped, but he tried for 12 rounds. Oscar Valdez, Canelo Alvarez. These men didn't go out on their shields. They didn't try their damnedest to pull out all the stops. Jaime Munguia, for as much as people want to say about him, when he fought Gabe Rosado, he dug deep in that fight. Stick and move. It might seem like false accolades to you, but broaden your horizons, man. And what makes me say that is Castaño was trying. He was trying. He lost to a better fighter. Isaac Cruz was trying. He lost to a better fighter. But Oscar Valdez didn't sell out. He didn't try to go for it all. And neither did Canelo. Canelo is still showing you that he ain't willing to go for it all by going to go back and fight Triple G for a third time. The man who's like 75 years old. Huh? In a fight that nobody wants to see. Now, out of the fights that people want to see, he ain't willing to face those men. So what is that? False accolades, huh? Tone 40, there's not a tea that they make on the market that'll help him. And that's what Shakur told him days before the fight when he said, just don't cheat. Huh? Or I never cheated in my life. Just don't cheat. Did you see all those knots on Valdez's head after the Stevenson fight? He couldn't get out of the way of a punch to save his life. Boxing is something else, people. It really is. It's something else. Con Shonery says Lewis used to say when he suspected his opponents of being on PEDs, fight night, the juice won't help him when I'm smashing his chin. That's right. That's right. Well, it's getting late, people. I gotta get up in the morning for the call-in show, but I had to do post-fight. I wasn't able to do the post-fight for last weekend. Just was too tired, man. And I run into fatigue here, so just know that I do my best when I try to bring this stuff to you guys, and we'll talk about it more on the call-in show, I guess. Oh, the numbers done just spiked up again. I guess some more people decided to come around, but you know what? It's okay. It's okay. You guys could catch the replay, huh? And leave your little dirty comments and everything and in the comment section, you know. It ain't gonna change the fact that I said that Rolly performed like a professional. Got knocked out like a guy trying to win the fight. And Tank Davis showed separation between he and Rolly's talents and abilities, as he should have. And all is well within the world. Did you see, and I didn't talk about this very much, I'll talk about it on the call-in show, but did you see the butts that Tank put in the seats, bro? Did you see the famous faces and everything? Now, this was not Atlanta. This was New York. So they traveled for him, too. How about that? How about that? They travel for him, too. So it doesn't matter if he fights in New York, Atlanta, or Vegas. Lomachenko don't put butts in the seat like that, huh? Bozo Circus won't be able to do it either. Just something to think about. Let y'all marinate on that. But we're going to get on up out of here. You guys going to catch some shut-eye, and so will I. And we'll come back in the morning for the call-in show. Do all this all over again. Peace to the mighty LDBC. Salute to everybody that came out and showed support this evening. The super chats. Those who decided to subscribe. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.